Oops, having issues there. How's everybody doing? Sorry that I had to push it back. I was editing and adding subtitles to the main video that I will be showing today. So I wanted to make sure that was good, and because hey Thrall, hey Roswell, hey Precious Chaos and Lady CG, Mom of Two, Rennie, Mama Steph. Thank you, guys. So I think I have a really good live for you guys today. I hope so anyways. I think so. I think you'll find some stuff interesting that we're going to be talking about. Hey, Scott. Hey, Sue Marie. Sarah and me. Stars and Stripes. Adele. Michelle. So, I hate when creators sit there and say hi to everybody, like individually for like 15 minutes. So I try not to do that, but I feel bad for not saying hi to everybody. So that's what he said. Oh shit. He said to meet them. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Let me put it on my comments so I can see, like, when I'm playing videos, what you guys are saying. Hope everybody's having good 4th. And I figure okay, my internet went out there for a second. Hey, Bobby Lynn. Well, I tried to do 2 shades, but it didn't really work out. I don't like the shades are too close together, so it's hard to tell. Like underneath is supposed to be like a different. Yeah, happy 4th, Becca and everybody. So I had a change of email. Nightbot should be posting that throughout the chat, and the updated one is under every description and in my about section and all that. It's YouTubeZiggy@outlook.com. It's just on it's just a better email. I don't know. It's just easier for me to access. It's on I can pull it up with Outlook, Mail, and all that. So I do have the old email, but it will be being deleted soon. Thank you, Country Girl. Okay. Yeah, it's better than going to mail.com, and everybody confuses it with Gmail, and that's so I hated that I missed so many days in a row, but I was expecting to go live yesterday, but something important came up, and it ended up taking the majority of the day. So by the time I got done with that, I was super tired. And so I've been working on this because I wanted to explain like something. It was something I was deciding whether or not to share with everybody because of the contents of what is being said. But I figured if Fred didn't want it shared, he would have told me not to put it out. And also he probably wouldn't have said it, or he would have just, because I told him several times, like, anything that you think that I shouldn't put out. He's never told me everything. He never said that. He never ever told me, like, don't put this out or anything. I just was trying to decide if I should or not. And it's kind of hard for me to explain my backing of Fred and why I believe he's being honest, like, without being able to say everything. Because I've definitely been wrong before, like everybody, and I have been fooled before. Does this mean that I trust like 100% of all his information, that it's like 100% fact? No, because a long time has passed since these events of when, Summer went missing in that day, and many of the events that he talks about, that it's very possible that things is lost in translation. There might be stuff that's hearsay, or how the telephone game goes. But I will say this: you guys are welcome to have your opinion, and that's fine. Obviously, I don't care about that, because I think it's important to remain neutral in this case and use critical thinking. And, sometimes, many of our opinions have changed. Most of our opinions have changed over the course of this case as more info comes in, as more people talk. And yeah, I know my opinion has changed, and theories have changed, or whatever. We don't have very much guaranteed, like, 100%. Yeah, I don't know about the monkey thing. I think that's kind of like one of those things that is like how some people are really, what are those, what's it called? Like, superficial. No, it's not superficial. Whatever it's called. It's not that. I think he really believes that, the whole monkey thing. He says it happened in he said something about 1944. So I kind of wonder if, it's just stories he's heard, and like he just really has believed it, like kind of like people who believe in Bigfoot or paranormal or whatever. It's just, I don't know. I think he truly believes it, or he wouldn't have said it. But I have to admit, like, when I heard him start to talk about that, I was like bummed, because it was the first time I'm like, oh my gosh, maybe he is like messing with me or something. But he seemed to truly have believed it. I do know people have kept monkeys as pets around that area. I mean, we've seen plenty of articles about it and stuff like that. And this was that had to do with a story of a guy who had kept monkeys in cages. And when he passed away, somebody had released all of them. And the thing is, though, that Fred believes that they're still around. Animals adapt and stuff. It's not impossible, but it's improbable. in my opinion. But he said a lot of information to us that has seemed to line up with things. The first thing that we're going to go over, though, is the second part of the title, because I want to make sure that I don't want to have to replay the video and stuff. And I'll upload the little part of the video, of the audio. I already have it all put together and everything with somewhat subtitles that I did myself. Hey, little dove and lip log. XX. What? He's not mad at you. Little tiny FBI squirrels. Oh. You believe in Bigfoot? I don't believe in Bigfoot, but I believe in paranormal. I mean, my mind could be changed about Bigfoot, but Anyways, okay, so there was something that I was listening to earlier, and I couldn't remember what I had watched. Actually, I could probably have looked through my YouTube history to remember, but it's okay because I have a video pulled up that Michelle Walks put up. This actually just clipped off my channel. It's just basically has to do with Knoxville, Tennessee. Is there some kind of connection with Knoxville and Summer's disappearance? I got a very interesting email, and I hope to talk to the person today. So I'm hopefully after this live about somebody who doesn't want to come forward themselves because, I mean, obviously it's an embarrassing story because they have changed their life around and they have a family and kids now. But at one point they had an addiction, and to pay for that life or addiction and lifestyle that they had, she had to do things that, she didn't think she would ever do. So it's kind of an embarrassing story to come forward with on YouTube, but I'm definitely interested in hearing more. And it has to do with Knoxville, Tennessee, and when Don would go down there. We have heard rumblings of him getting, ladies of the night when he'd go down there on these like runs for dope or whatever. So I'll play a little bit of a clip where Don himself speaks about Knoxville in a phone call with me. And it's on Michelle Walks YouTube, but she has it nice and clipped. So, because I was not the crack fairy, his crack fairy story. And happy 4th of July. Yep. If you're proud to be American, love our country, or just love our favorite crack. Yes, exactly. So here, let's play this clip to just remember one thing that Don said about Knoxville. But it is very interesting that Knoxville comes up very often in this case. I mean, is there something to it, beyond just Don's late night rendezvous in Knoxville or 3-day binges or whatever? So let's listen to a minute of this.
You know that they accused me of selling my daughter for gold. You know what I did? The fucking TBI and FBI accused me of selling coke. You know what I did? Marianne said that shit. No, I took the TBI, and I hope they're listening to this phone call. I went and draw $2,000 on my bank account and went to Knoxville and bought $2,000 worth of fucking shit. I fucking give dope away all night for 2 days. They followed me. I had 5 or 6 agents following me for 2 days. And then when I got on the freeway and went home, they was on the freeway with me, and I outrun them all except for one car. It was one of them. Maybe a little bit more careful than that. No, they know what people are watching it. Yeah, they probably don't care about you using drugs, to be honest, because they're probably just watching what you see. They do, but they don't. But I showed them. They much rather, I don't know.
So what I meant by that is obviously the cops care about people using drugs, especially driving, but it's more important to find Summer than worrying about whether or not Don's using drugs. In that call was Sonia was on there too, his sister. Oh, thank you, Flyeswater. You don't know where Cracktown in Knoxville is? Imaginary fairy that can be either male or female. It wears pink ballerina outfit with fairy wings, announces its visits before throwing crack or pixie sticks at people it is visiting. What digital evidence? Am I missing something? Yeah, he didn't wonder who this is. Hello? Hello? Hey, who is this? Huh? Oh, okay. Well, I'm live right now. Oh, no, it's fine. Are you the one that was texting me? Or that I emailed me? Okay, awesome. Yeah, I just emailed or text you back and said I really would love to talk to you. So I'll text. Okay, sounds good. All right, bye. Thanks. Sorry about that, guys. It came up Tennessee, and so I was like, but I do want to, that's that person that I'm waiting to talk to. So, but unfortunately, I'm live, which, whatever. I'm happy to be here. So, but I just hope I get have a chance to talk to her again because she emailed me a couple days ago, and yeah. I felt rude. I didn't mean, I was just confused. Okay, so I clipped a little bit of this audio. Where Knoxville comes up again in the talk with Fred, but in this instance, it's about Andy. So I think I've played this audio. I'm sure I have. But it was in the bigger, it was in a longer clip, and yeah, I just wanted people to hear this part. By the way, little did I know when I put together that part one of Laura Audio, which is his wife. I just grabbed the first 3 like recordings I had and put them together of her of our conversation, and I didn't realize that there was only 10 minutes, one more clip left of that conversation that was actually only 10 minutes. So really all that's left of the conversation with Laura is just 10 minutes that was not already put up. So I don't know. I will, and it's really not anything. I listened to it. It's really not anything that would probably interest you guys, but I will put it up like separately by itself today, I guess. It's if you want to hear it, but all of the Laura conversation was mostly in that live I did, or that upload I already did. So I just was not paying attention. So I'm sorry about that. All right. So let's listen to this clip and sorry, the audio is not going to be that good, but I will tell you with the clip later of the new audio that I'm going to put out, I made out like subtitles and stuff. So you'll be able to understand it a little bit better. But this is only 40 seconds.
That was the 3rd day of them standing on the hill. Andy, he needs to haul a cruise.
Okay, so he says, after the 3rd day of them sitting at the bottom of the hill, he's talking about Jody Sue and Andy. Then he says, Andy leaves altogether.
Knoxville instead of safer. I think when I seen that story, the next time I seen him, he came like.
He went to Knoxville and stuff. Here, I'm going to restart that part.
All the cruise. He goes Knoxville instead of safer. I think when I seen that story, the next time I seen him, he came like 21 days.
When I seen him at the store, the next time I seen him, he's talking about after that, it had been 21 days.
That he'd been in Knoxville.
That he had been in Knoxville.
And it just didn't make sense why.
And it just didn't make sense why.
And he just up and just leave that like that, you know.
Why Andy would just leave like that, you know?
He just said not to really die or what?
No, he just, I don't know what the deal was about.
He said, no, I don't know what the deal was. I forget. I couldn't understand what I asked. Okay, I'll play it again though.
The 3rd day he just up and gone.
And went to Knoxville?
Yes, staying in Knoxville.
After the 3rd day, he was just up and gone. And I asked him if he went to Knoxville, and he said, yeah. So now I'll play it again, just straight.
That was the 3rd day of them standing on the hill. Andy, he needs to haul a cruise. He goes Knoxville instead of safer. I think when I seen that story, the next time I seen him, he'd been like 21 days that he'd been in Knoxville. And it just didn't make sense why he just up and just leave that like that, you know.
He just said not to really die or what?
No, he just, I don't know what the deal was about that. He just, the 3rd day he just up and gone.
And went to Knoxville?
Yes, staying in Knoxville.
Okay, so I asked him if he went to Knoxville to get high or something. But I did see somebody say something about does he have family in Knoxville? Are you sure it was Andy that has family in Knoxville? I thought it was Jody Sue. But that is, it's possible. I mean, who's in Knoxville of his family? I mean, isn't Fleta passed away? I don't know. I would have to look on his his background and stuff, but I don't know. I just noticed that Knoxville comes up a lot. With Don brought it up all the time. That wasn't the only time that he mentioned Knoxville. It's been brought up a lot, and that lady that is getting a hold of me, Knoxville came up, and it just like it when I was going over this clip for today, when I was cutting out the part that I didn't play before, I heard that about Knoxville, and it just like made me think. I'm like, wow, that's kind of odd because Don always talked about Knoxville. And going there and taking off and disappearing for a few days. So these people, whoever Don is going to meet in Knoxville, these obvious like shady characters, because it sounds like he's going to get a bunch of dope, right? He said he went there and bought $2,000 worth of crack and turned into the crack fairy and just gave it away for 2 days. Well, TBI was just following him around like it was like, like a movie where they were just, but if if Summer was sold or anything like that, it would seem like that would be the likely place that he would have met somebody, or where he would have ran into somebody, or because of the shady characters. I don't know. I'm just wondering if there's a Knoxville connection at all. And coming up with the Andy and Don, it's just odd. Yeah, you get a baggie. You get a baggie. Yeah, no, usually I really don't think that he gave it away. So, real quick, I pulled up this article a couple days ago, but I never went over it. It's one I read about. All the time this comes up, and I feel like, why not go over this real quick? And then we'll get to the video clip that is actually really what I want to talk about. For some reason, there's still like a lot of misinformation about this arrest back in 2016. I mean, well, not for just, I mean, it makes sense because people can't watch everything, and it's hard to keep up with all the information we hear all the time. But he talks about this story also, or what happened, his words, in that clip that I pulled today's clip out of too. And the way he told it, and you guys have heard it, it's been uploaded if you haven't, but it's he said that this guy he mentioned something about cutting down some wire or something like that to get to this area. I guess he had a little bit of land, and he was shooting out there or something. The main part I remember is Fred said that he went out there to see what was going on, and this guy was out there and started yelling at Fred and had shot at him. He said he shot at him 10 times before he even shot at him, and that he was telling him, like, you know, he was like, his daughter was there. The guy's daughter was with him. And I remember him telling me, like, somebody could have got killed, like, you know, and he shot back at him after it was not, when things did not, you know, chill out. He did shoot back at him, and the guy did get hit in the neck. He did survive. And Fred was arrested because he was a felon from a 2011 charge out in Virginia. And the charges ended up being dropped, except the gun charge, because he wasn't supposed to have a gun. But the other guy ended up getting arrested too, and they came up with a deal. The guy said if Fred does not go after him for what he had done, the shooting at him or whatever, that he would not try to prosecute him or something. Anyways, the state didn't pick up any charges. Fred didn't get any charges for that, except the gun charges, and that was it. But the guy was okay. He's not paralyzed or anything. He survived, thankfully. But I don't know. There just seems to be, like, people always talk about, like, oh, how he shot this guy in the neck. It's like, do you understand it was in self-defense? Like, it's really irritating, guys, that for me, well, it's not just this. It's like anything that anytime I hear misinformation that seems to get repeated over and over again, especially from people that that you would think that would know better, it just is really frustrating. And then when they don't go back and fix it, you know. Anyways, I'll read this real quick. Alleged Hawkins County gunman. Okay, alleged Hawkins gunman, a convicted felon shooting victim accused of vandalism. This was on February 28th of 2016. By the way, once again, I feel like a broken record, but at the time, or right now, Fred is 45 years old. This was 6 years ago. So when he was 39 years old. And before that, he had his first conviction in 2011, which was that felony. When he was, so it's 2011, now it's 2022, 11 years ago, when he was 34 years old. I mean, I wish people would give him a little bit of a break. He was 34 years old before he ever had any conviction. Anyways, okay, so it says the accused gunman in a February 24th Hawkins County shooting had been charged with possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, while allegations of vandalism have surfaced against the victim. Fred Jr., 39, of 167 Bill Hill Road. Okay, so by the way, Fred does not live at 167 right now. So this incident, I found out, actually occurred at his mom's house at 167, which is the next house up towards, when you leave Fred's, towards 110. But it's a little ways up on the right. So Fred Hill of Rogersville reportedly shot 44-year-old Roy Fanning of Fall Branch in the throat on Wednesday, February 24th, during an early morning altercation in front of Hill's home. In a report released Monday morning, Sheriff Ronnie Lawson said the investigation revealed that Hill did, in fact, shoot Fanning with a firearm and that Hill has felony convictions from October 2011 in Virginia involving the use of firearms. Hill was charged Saturday evening with unlawful carry or possession of a weapon, a Class E felony. That's crazy. Like, you guys in Tennessee, you guys have 5 classes of felonies. We only have 4 here in Indiana. But anyways, he was being held in the Hawkins County Jail without bond pending arraignment in Hawkins County General Sessions Court on Monday. So that happened Saturday. So he basically had to stay Saturday night, Sunday night until he had to be seen in court Monday. And that's that's normal. Fanning of 350 Bank Drive, Fall Branch, was discharged from the Holston Valley Medical Center Sunday. According to reports, Fanning owns property on Ben Hill Road, near where the shooting took place, in the Beech Creek community of Hawkins County, near the Sullivan County line. In a report released last week, Lawson stated that Fanning and a family member, who, by the way, was the guy's daughter, were at that property shortly after midnight on February 24th, and that Fanning was apparently in the roadway target shooting. Fred Hill Jr., who resides on Ben Hill Road, reportedly went outside to see what the shooting was about. I mean, it was after midnight, by the way, guys. Around 12:42 a.m., the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office responded to 167 Ben Hill Road on a report of shots being fired. Deputies at the scene spoke to Hill, who reportedly stated he had shot a male, later identified as Fanning, in the roadway at his residence. Hill reportedly stated that he confronted Fanning about the shooting, at which time Fanning allegedly fired a gunshot in the air and then pointed the gun at Hill. Hill reportedly admitted that he fired a shot at Fanning, striking him in the throat. Fanning was transported by his family member to Wilmot Holston Valley Medical Center, where he was immediately admitted into surgery. On Friday, the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office received a complaint of damage allegedly caused by Fanning to a Ben Hill Road neighbor's gate a short time before the shooting took place. Edward Redmond, side note, Redmond is the guy at the end of Ben Hill Road who Fred says if anything happens to him, it was him. So this guy at 245, he wanted everybody to know that, alleged that on February 24th, Roy Fanning was in his property and tore down a cable fence he has at the end of a cable road. According to a report filed by Deputy Bobby Moffitt, Redmond alleged that Fanning had pulled up the post that the cable was attached to and threw it in a ditch. Redmond was seeking information about how to keep Fanning off his property, Moffitt said. Redmond said Fanning had went to the property of George Duran and damaged the steel gate. Moffitt said Redmond stated Fanning was the only person in and on the property. Moffitt added, while speaking with Redmond, he showed me a map of the property. He stated there is not a legal right-of-way to Fanning's property. He said he was allowing Fanning to cross his land and use his landowner's road to access. In parentheses, it says Fanning's property, but since Fanning has caused so many problems, he doesn't want him back on his land. Moffitt also spoke to Duran, who reportedly stated that Fanning had damaged his gate on several occasions and was told not to be on his property. The damage to the gate was estimated at $1,000. Lawson told the Times News Monday his investigators have not had an opportunity yet to speak to Fanning, and the investigation is ongoing. So that's just want to read that. Okay. So to the Yeah, at midnight. So I don't know. It just says something about one shooting in the air in that article, and then pointing the gun at Fred, and then that's when Fred shot at Fanning. I was told by both Fred and his wife that it was actual. He said like 10 shots at him, at Fred. I don't know, but anyways. Oh, thank you, Cindy. I know, right? Finally, I'm on. Okay, so the important thing, let me see here. This should be downloaded. Oh, wait, hold on. I wonder if I could play it right here so that I can. Okay. Okay, so this is going to have. Oh, shit. I don't want to do that. My bad. Oh, I keep accidentally hitting start. That's the video I'm about to play. It is 7 minutes and 25 seconds. And just to kind of give a little bit of context to this, I guess. It's like really important. It's really important. I had kind of mentioned it before. I hadn't told anybody except like a couple people. I think I had told Scott, but I had not shared this clip with anybody. So this will be the first that anybody's heard it. I was trying to decide whether I should put it out like I had stated. But I have mentioned before that I thought that Fred was going to be a huge asset to Summer's case. I just also thought it would help by showing this to. Now, could he be lying? I guess, sure. Why would he want to lie about this? I'm just saying, you don't know what it is yet, but just think about that when listening. But I do want to ask, just like what was put on my community tab, if you saw it, what has other suspects, right? Because I guess everybody is a suspect, right? But like the main ones, like that surround this case, like Jody Sue, Andy, Frank Light, I guess, anybody who was hanging out at that house beforehand, like Marlena Crawford, grandma. I mean, I don't know. She might have helped more than we think. We might be surprised. But I just wanted to have you guys hear this. And of course, it's coming from Fred, but he had obviously known this for a while. He didn't tell me it the first time I was there. Maybe he feels like okay to say it now because Don's in jail and stuff, and it's been some time. But remember how I said that Fred had mentioned that he has talked to law enforcement 3 to 4 times, like since I was even there last time in January? And some people were like, well, why are you talking to why is he talking to law enforcement so much? Like it was, like he was in trouble or something, I guess. I don't know. So everybody's suspect, I suppose. I mean, we don't, until we see proof of anybody being cleared, then I haven't been seen any straight proof of Fred being cleared. or anybody. People have said they're cleared. What Jody Sue said that Jody Sue, which I need to pull up I want to show these later too, but I'm not going to like make you wait any longer on this audio. But my community post, because I put it on my community post the other day, and I did go over it in one of my last live, but it was like way, it was a long live, so many people probably didn't see it. But it's very important, like messages I had with Jody Sue right around the time that Chris McDonough, it was actually the night of Chris McDonough uploading that unedited interview with H, where he mentions Andy, where he mentions Andy's name, or I think he said Andy or Anthony. Hey, wise old lady. She said he has immunity. Yeah, happy 4th, everybody. Okay, so here, we'll go ahead and let's get this. And I will upload this so it's separate so people can use it in their videos or whatever. Because I bet people will probably be talking about it, I'm guessing. Here, let me mute. Let me know if you guys, here, let me pull up my chat on my phone so that I can see the chat, because I won't be able to. I won't be able to see the chat. Okay, so let's go ahead and watch this. Let me know if you guys cannot hear, because I'm playing this on a different thing than usual.
And that's why people want to hear from you.
Pretty section last week when it came in for TGI.
And that's why. And that's why. People want to hear from you.
Pretty section last week when it came in for TGI.
And that's why. People want to hear from you.
Pretty section last week when it came in for TGI and was getting taking stuff on. So I just opened Don and stuff there, and all at once they just over the device, it was like somebody laughed out loud, just real loud. And then when we go back, me and TBI said go back to review what was being recorded, it's been like playing. Just like the joke was on us or something. I don't know what it was. I mean, they can't even figure it out why everything we had on there. Then when that light comes through like that, I play it off like it's my phone, you know.
Somebody laughed.
Yeah, just out loud, crazy, you know. I mean, it just chills down my spine.
Oh my God.
Don kind of looked at me, and I had my phone in my hand. I said, "Yes, fucking phone," you know. And then we talked a few more minutes. Then I made up the film back here, and we was going to go over it and stuff, and they didn't know what was on there. He'd been like fucking clean, and they didn't know the way they had it set up that I could erase anything off of it, you see. And he'd just been a clean slate like that, and nothing more.
But could they hear you guys while you were, I mean.
They can't figure out how he got like clean like that. They even heard the live, you know.
So they were listening while you were over there.
Crazy.
So if he would have like attacked you, they would have known or something.
It's somebody that's done it real high tech and like know what they're really doing, you know, to be able to do something that advanced in technology like that, you know what I mean? To be able to break the cage and shit down.
And then, so, but they were able to hear your guys' conversation still, though, right? But they just couldn't get it recorded? The two guys?
We done had so much recorded on it prior to that, you see, and then some done recorded onto something else. But once that life came over, it just wiped everything we had, even up to that date and everything, quite clean, just like that device was just a clean slate. We done had probably 15 hours of stuff on it, usually.
Of him, like,
3 days.
Of him, like, coming up, with Don coming up, where is it, when he would come up here? And
Because he started coming here to...
How would
3 hours from this and he was here, oh, I can't stand it down there because all law and stuff, and then it goes first going on about religion, and stuff like that, and they just wanted me to try to figure out what he was trying to... It's like he's trying to tell what happened, but make a story out of somebody else's stuff.
So what would you have to do? What would you have to do would you have to, like, press the button before you start, like...
Well, I would take, and before I left here, I'd go ahead and have everything set.
You'd walk down there?
I just walk down there and just...
When he,
or if I see him come up the driveway, I just stick it in my pocket or something,
yeah.
you know.
And, wow.
I told him, I said, no, I hate you find her like that, but you better not ask me to do nothing else, you know.
No, I don't think, I think that people should be able to understand when it comes to missing kids, that's different. That's not like missing, that's like,
There's a lot of different kids is. Kids is what the world should be about, you know. That's what makes the world go round, kids.
Is that what so...
I mean, anybody that really knows me, I mean, I've had 10, 15 kids with me at a time on this creek, and I have to run their parents down 2 weeks later to give them the kids back. I mean, let kids do everything.
Yeah. So,
I've more or less been the father of a lot of kids.
Yeah, I ain't supposed to know to ask you, but...
I wouldn't do nothing in the world to harm them in no way.
You don't seem like...
Give my life in.
You don't seem like a scary person to me. Yeah. So they must... Law enforcement, they must...
It's like when I went down there and done the statement in front of all of them, I mean, the whole deal, a bunch of them, when they took me down the line. I stood there and all of them introduced me to all of them. They told them, said, that was the main drug task force, and he told me, said, since one of these prisons, I only can put one, if we justice man right here, he will not mislead things on anything. That's what he told me, you know. And I wasn't, I mean.
Yeah. I can tell.
I didn't mislead them on nothing. They even asked me about the dope, everything. I mean, I ain't setting nobody out, but that's what I was worried.
That's what I was worried. That's what I was wondering if that's what was going on with Jenny too. Like she was scared of, like she was doing some drug stuff and was afraid of. Because she had to say.
I didn't even know they didn't do no dope.
So you didn't know, you didn't see her.
I didn't know that Johnny was doing anything other than drinking and smoking a pot. I mean, I didn't take TBI stuff. I said, I didn't even know they even done anything like that, you know.
Well, but when did you see him do coke? Because he came down here asking if he wanted to do coke, but...
The day before the boys got took.
So that's the first time you had...
He took him... Well, he's come here before, late at night and stuff, that not had it where you could sit doing it or nothing. But now, the day before the boys got took, he come here trying to get us to eat stuff with it, take the stuff with it.
Okay. So it's like you didn't...
He's trying to set me up that night. I mean, he just acted weird as fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, just... you know, it didn't make it feel like he was trying to set me up on something, but...
But you had never really seen him use before then?
No. I had never seen you guys
that you would tell her.
Using stuff and asked if he could hang out for 30 minutes or something other to come down with it so Candace wouldn't know or something other or whatnot. And maybe fine.
Because
he does, if I could, if he's parking in the driveway or something there for 30 minutes or an hour or something other.
so they never try to ask you guys for anything to see if you could get anything?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I saw some of you. I know it is hard to follow what's being said and listen at the same time because the text doesn't line up exactly with what he's being said, because at times I couldn't even understand what he was saying, or I was trying my best. So I'll go through it again and I'll play it again, but I will, let's see, read it back. Hold on.
And that's why.
Okay, this so I could see the. Oh, I'm not gonna be able to see the chat. I don't think. Okay, still not gonna be able to see a chat. I'll just have to look at my phone if I need to see a chat. So, anyways, basically what he's talking about is that he was TBI had and law enforcement Hawkins County had asked him to record some things for them. And it started the day that Summer went missing, I think. I'm not sure for sure when it was the first time he recorded, but he recorded several days, and they gave him a device. There were separate devices, more than one device used. And he had stated that on one of them, there was like a laugh that came through, like an audible laugh, and that he said it freaked him out. And he was like, oh my God, because, you know, he didn't want Don to know, obviously. And he had to play it off like it was his phone that caused that noise. But when he had met back up with TBI for them to review the audio that was collected, they also had no idea what the laugh was. They were listening to him live while he was recording. However, when they played it back, everything was wiped off the recorder, the device that he had at that time. So they do have recordings of some of it because there was more than one device used, I guess. I don't know if this was like the first one that was used and this happened, and so they gave him another one or what, but that's what he was talking about. And he said that the law enforcement couldn't figure out what that was and why all that happened. So he was just speculating, I guess, like, and that's why he was mentioning, like, you know, somebody would have to have been really advanced or in technology or something. Anyways, here, I'll read this to you guys because it is hard to, even for me, after me watching it, even knowing what was said and going over it over and over, because I was typing in the words, it's still like, you know, hard to follow. So here we go.
And that's why people want to hear from you.
So right there, he says, that's just like when I went down there for TBI. Which he was taping stuff for him. Says I was talking to Don and stuff there. Maybe I'll let a couple of them go by and then stop it.
I don't want to say this over the device. It is like somebody laughs out loud.
He talks about how somebody over the device, it was like someone had just like laughed out loud, just like real loud.
Real loud. And then when we go back, and then DBI says go back to review what was being recorded, it's been like playing. Just like their joke was on us or something. I don't know what it was. I mean, they can't even figure it out why everything we had on there, then when that light comes through like that, I played it off like it's my phone.
So he talked about how see, now I left it. So when he went back, TBI and him went and reviewed what had been recorded, and then it was like he said it as like jokers or something that made this laugh. I don't know. He said they couldn't figure it out why everything they had on there. And when that laugh come through, because he kind of stopped what he was saying, and then he goes, when that laugh come through, like that I played like it was my phone.
I had on there, and when that light comes through like that, I played it off like it's my phone, you know.
Somebody laughed.
I just out loud, just running crazy, you know. I mean, what chills in my spine.
Oh my God.
And he's talking about how crazy it was, and it's sent chills down his spine when he heard that laugh.
I looked at him, and I had my phone in my hand. I said, yeah, it's phone, you know. And then
he talks about how he had to like blow it off, like there was, you know, like it was his phone that made the sound. You know, when Don looked at him like, you know, like what the fuck.
We talked a few more minutes, and I made up with him back here, and we was going to go over some stuff, and they was on there. He'd been like such a clean.
And he talked about how when he went back to meet with them, when they were going over the stuff, law enforcement noticed how the whole thing had been wiped clean.
And they had no way they had it put up that I could erase anything off it, you see. And he just didn't translate.
He says some stuff here at the end. I didn't understand. That's why all the question marks. But he just said there was no way that the way that they had that device set up that he could have erased anything manually by himself.
But could they hear you guys while you were? I mean,
they can't figure out how he got like clean like that. They even heard the laugh, you know.
He talked about how TBI couldn't even, or law enforcement couldn't even figure out how it happened, how it got wiped clean like that. And he said they even heard the laugh as it happened, just like he did.
While you were over there.
Crazy.
So if he would have like attacked you, they would have known or something.
It's somebody that's done it real high tech and like know what they're really doing, you know, to be able to do something that advanced in technology like this, you know what I mean?
So he's just saying that in order for somebody to do something like that, to interfere with the device, that they'd have to be really, you know, advanced and know their shit and technology. I don't know. I think it would probably be, if something like that happened, it'd probably be some type of interference from some other device or something, is my guess.
To be able to break the code and shit down.
And then, but they were able to hear your guys' conversation still, though, right? But they just couldn't get it recorded.
We done had so much recorded on it prior to that, you see, and then done recorded onto something else. But once that light come over, it just wiped everything we had, even up to that date and everything, white clean, just like that device was just a clean slate.
So then he said that they had so much already recorded at that point on that device, and that they also had some already recorded on another device. But after that last time, when that laugh occurred, it was just like everything that was on there and up to that day that had been recording on that device was just wiped clean, and it was just like a clean slate, like it had never had anything on it.
We done had probably 15 hours of stuff on it usually.
Of him, like
3 days.
Of him, like coming up with Dawn coming.
So he just said that they had like 15 hours of recordings already on it, probably like 2 or 3 days worth of stuff on it.
Yep, when he would come up here. And
He started coming here just.
How would
3 hours from this and he was here. Oh, I can't stand it down there because all law and stuff. And then it goes first going on about religion, and stuff like that.
He said after 3 hours of Summer missing that he came down there, which, by the way, guys, remember Fred said that Don had his oldest son with him, and when he came down there that first time, and that oldest son was like attached to Don, like after Summer went missing, like the whole time, like Don had an eye on him or something. But after 3 hours of Summer missing, he said that Don was saying, I can't stand it down there because of all the law enforcement and stuff. And then he started going on about religion and stuff, how he would see Summer. He already was mentioning how he would see Summer in the resurrection on the day on the night that Summer had been missing, 3 hours afterwards, according to Fred. 3 hours. Oh, thank you, Vet Girl. Thank you so much.
They just wanted me to try to figure out what he was trying to. It's like he's trying to tell what happened, but make a story out of somebody else's stuff.
He was saying that law enforcement just wanted him to try to help them figure out like what he was trying to, and then he kind of stopped right there. It's like he said it was like Don was trying to tell what happened to Summer, but was making a story out of somebody else's stuff, like using somebody else's story to explain what happened to Summer.
So what would you have to do? Would you have to like press the button before you start like?
Well, I would take in before I left here. I'd go ahead and have everything set.
You'd walk down there.
I just walk down there and just.
And
if I see him come up the driveway, I just stick it in my pocket or something.
Yeah.
You know.
So I asked him how it would work, like how that whole whatever they gave him to use. What he would have to do. He said before he would leave to go down there, that like over down near Don's, because there was all kinds of law enforcement and stuff out there. You know, Jody Sue and Andy were sitting at the bottom of the hill for 3 days and just all kinds of activity. He said before he would go down there and stuff, he would already have it set and everything ready to go. And then if he would see Don coming up the driveway, he would just, stick it in his pocket and already have it ready to go.
And wow,
I told him I said, I hate you find her like that, but you better not ask me to do nothing else,
No.
So right there, he's talking about how he told law enforcement that he would do it, that he would help them with this to help find Summer. But he said, you better not ask me to do nothing else. So he's talking about like, basically they better not ask him to like try to snitch on somebody or try to figure out who's selling drugs or whatever. That he was just willing to help figure out what happened to Summer, because she's a missing child and it's different. So that's why I ask, did Andy or Jody Sue or anybody else do this? Or do they just snitch when it's to get themselves out of trouble? I mean, from what we hear, they're willing to, well, at least Jody Sue is willing, that I know of. I don't know about, this is allegedly. I don't know. I've just heard Jody Sue. I don't know for sure. Like, I'm confused yet on Andy, but we've heard that Jody Sue supposedly back in around 2010 or something had told on somebody named Kenneth Lawson to get herself out of trouble, who is now getting out in about 2.5 months, who ended up doing 10 years in prison. And some people say that Jody Sue wore a wire and set the guy up. And yeah, to get herself out of trouble, because she was also arrested on some charges. So I'm just wondering if she ended up wearing, if she would do that, surely she would do it for summer, right? I would love to ask her. I would love to know, actually.
I think that people should be able to understand when it comes to missing kids. That's different. That's not like snitching. That's like.
Kids love it. That's kids. Kids is what the world should be about, you know? That's what makes the world go round. Kids.
Is that what so?
Anybody that really knows me, I've had 10, 15 kids with me at a time on this creek, and had to run their parents down 2 weeks later to give them the kids back.
So he was just saying that kids are what makes the world go around. That's what this world's all about. And that he had mentioned to me how there's been many times that like people had just like dropped their kids off down there, and that they would just be like stuck down there for 2 or 3 weeks, and he would have to hunt their parents down because they would just never come back to give them their kids back. Be like, he said that they would run around and do all kinds of stuff for themselves, but yeah, they didn't want anything to do with their kids.
Let kids do everything.
Yeah. So
I'm more or less been the father of a lot of kids.
He just said, I more or less have been a father to like a lot of kids.
Yeah, I ain't supposed to ask you, but
I wouldn't do nothing in the world to harm them in no way.
You don't seem like
give my life.
You don't seem like a scary person.
He just said there's, that he would never do anything to hurt a kid, and he would give his life up. He would do anything for him.
So they must, law enforcement,
What did I tell you when I went down there and done the state concerns, all of them? The whole deal, a bunch of them. They took me down there. I stood there. All of them reached me to all of them. They told them, said, the main good tax person, he told me that since one of these do something, if we take this man out here, he will not mislead things on anything. That's what he told me,
So I couldn't understand like part of what he said in that, but mainly what he was saying, he was just saying that he was just giving an example of how when he went down to, I guess, Hawkins County, law enforcement, sheriff's department, I don't know, somewhere. I don't know if he went to TBI, but he said that he did a statement in front of that there was a bunch of them. He was talking about that there was ridiculous number of them, and that when they took him down there because they actually had picked him up and took him down there to write his statement. And the people that brought him in had mentioned how they were like, this one right here, he will not mislead you. He said yins. I don't know how to spell yins, but he said this one will not mislead yins on anything, and he'll help you out with whatever. That's basically what he was saying. And yeah, that's what he was saying there, that the guy, whoever, he said the main drug task force person. So I found that weird. I don't know if that's like true, that the person who picked him up is somebody like the head of the drug task force, or if there was, I mean, if there's something like with that, like, are they thinking like drugs had something to do with Summer? Is that the reason why it was the head drug task force person was, I mean, or was it just a bunch of departments together that, you know what I mean?
That's what he told me, you know. And I wasn't.
Yeah.
I didn't mislead them on nothing. They even asked me about the dope, everything. I mean, I ain't putting nobody out, but I mean,
that's fine.
So he was just saying that he wouldn't mislead them, that he didn't even mislead them when they started asking him about dope and everything. He told me that he had even told them that he does use sometimes, and that he was honest with them about that, and that he said, he goes, I told him everything, but I mean, I didn't set up. He said, I didn't set anybody up or anything, but I just told him, you know, the way it was. Like, he didn't try to lie to him and tell him that he didn't use drugs, is basically what he was telling me.
That's why I was wondering if that's what was going on with Jenny too. Like, she was scared of, like, she was doing some drug stuff and was afraid of, because she had to say
I didn't even know they didn't do no that.
so you didn't know if EFT or
I didn't know that Johnny was doing anything other than drinking. He smoked a little pot. I mean, I didn't take TBI stuff. I didn't even know they even done anything like that, you know?
So he had mentioned that, actually, this had been mentioned a few times, how he didn't know that he wasn't really like close to Jody Sue or Andy, or even really Don or Candace. That, you know, he had, just like how he mentioned that Don didn't even come down there, probably both of them had said how he had not even been down there probably like a total of maybe 10 times in all the years that, you know, they had known him to live down there. But when Summer went missing, he was just down there all the time. He mentioned the number 100, like 100 times, at least 100 times since she went missing. And he mentioned religion a lot and stuff. But he also, both of them had stated, both Laura and Fred had stated that they didn't even know Jody Sue or Andy used anything until all of this happened, because they weren't close like that where they would know anything, where he would know anything like that, I guess. I mean, they're all the way at the front of the holler, however we say it, front of the road near Beach Creek Road, and he's all the way at the end.
Well, but when did you see him do coke? Because he came down here asking if he wanted to do coke, but
The day before the boys got shot.
so that's the first time you had.
He took him, well, he's come here before, late at night and stuff, that not had it where you could sit doing it or nothing. But now, the day before the boys got shot, he come here trying to get us to eat stuff.
So he was just saying that, well, he knew that, like, I mean, he had seen Don high, so obviously he knew that he used drugs, like, but he had never seen Don use, like, drugs. He would come down there, like he said here, high late at night, but he didn't see the actual drugs. And Don would ask if he could chill out in his driveway for like 30 minutes or an hour or something, to kind of like sober up or whatever, so that Candace wouldn't know that he had been doing, I'm assuming crack. And he also mentioned how, because before, when he said that he didn't know that Don had used drugs really before, Summer had gone missing, like he didn't know about it really. I said, well, that can't be true, because you had mentioned how he had come down there, asked you if you wanted to do coke with him. And so he was just saying that, yeah, I had known, like, or suspected he had used other stuff, but I had never really seen it. Like, it wasn't like he was getting stuff off me. I mean, or, using with them or anything like that. And I don't think, as far as from what my conversation with Fred, I don't think his, like, really his main, he told me his drug of choice was actually pills, was what he was addicted to at one time, and had to get on Suboxone. I do know that he has used meth, because I even asked him about if it made him, like, hallucinate or whatever. He said no, because he was talking about how he was severely ADHD, and that it would actually help him feel normal and actually be able to help him sleep, because that's what speed does to people who have ADHD. It actually calms them down.
Okay. So it's like,
He's trying to shut me up that night. I mean, he just acted weird as fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, just, he didn't make it feel like he was trying to take some words.
But you had never really seen him use before then?
No, I had never seen you guys.
But he would help?
Using stuff, and asked if he could hang out for 30 minutes or something other, to come down a bit, or Candace wasn't over or something other, or whatnot. And maybe if he does, if he just like here, if he's parking in the driveway or something there for 30 minutes or an hour or something other.
So they never tried to ask you guys for anything, to see if you could get anything?
So he claimed that that Don and Candace had really never asked him to, it wasn't, he says that they had never asked him if he could get anything. I'm not sure if I don't know how I feel about that, because I do know that Laura, his wife, had mentioned how she had known about, or how she had known that Candace would use Suboxone at times, but so I don't know. A lot of people don't want to really be honest about their drug use, Let's see. It's pretty disheartening knowing all the stuff the Wells had done and all the stuff that goes on at the Wells house, for them to have to incorporate Fred Hill to try to catch them on something. I mean, I just feel like, it doesn't seem likely to me that, I mean, he goes into detail there about everything, and it just doesn't seem like that's something you would want to lie about. I mean, especially the reputation, I guess, that people get for snitching or whatever. But I feel like it's different, and that's what I tried to help him understand, because I felt like at one point that he was kind of feeling a little bit like guilty or something, or I don't know. I just felt like he kind of hesitated to start to talk about this. This was at the very end of the conversation, and but I don't feel like that's something that anybody should feel bad about, or that's why I want to know, like, did anybody else? I've heard things about a couple, not a couple. Remember early on when I had mentioned, when I did that CPS video, that's what people call it, I guess, CPS video. Now it was back in early September. And I had mentioned that how the lady had told me that law enforcement had incorporated, that there was somebody who was working for law enforcement and was helping them get information to, they were like, they used the word infiltrated in the family. I don't believe they were talking about Fred, actually. I don't know. There's been whisperings of it being Robin, which that would make sense to me. That would really make sense. But we don't know. And thank you so much, Cassie. I will upload that audio by itself so that people can go over it without having to try to find it here. About what, brown skin? About understand what they meant about what? Still want to know who the fuck the two guys in the little white truck in the woods bearing a dog by that motorcycle shop in Kingsport. Who the fuck was it? Maybe Candace and Grandis or H and... Oh, you're welcome, Lisa. Thank you. Yeah, and infiltrated into the family. I mean, I suppose they could have been talking about Fred, but I don't think so. I think it was somebody more like intertwined with the family, like somebody like Robin. I'm just saying it's pretty disheartening that Hawkins County hasn't brought it in the TBI to take more of a lead on this when they don't have the research. Well, actually, they were using, he said how he talked to TBI, so that's a branch of FBI. He says Suboxone because he was Flocka addicted. I didn't know people on Flocka took Suboxone. I didn't know that, but I guess if it helps. What time did Don Wells go to Fred Hill that night, and for how long? For some reason, I want to say it was, okay, he had mentioned, I know it was, he said in this recording that it was 3 hours after Summer went missing. So that'd be like 9:30, but I'm thinking it was like 10. 10 also came up that when Don went down there. So it's like 9:30 to 10 that Don went down there with his oldest son. And Fred thought that was really weird too. And what was actually even more strange, the fact that he was already talking about, 3 hours after Summer went missing, he's already talking about how he's going to see her in the resurrection. And that's even what like the tree guys were saying, like that he was, and the tree guys were saying that he was talking about the next morning after Summer went missing, like early in the morning, I guess before he went to work, if he did go to work, I don't know, but it was in the morning. He was talking about Trump and stuff. Like Don Wells was like a Trump fan. And for how long? I heard also that was about 3 hours. What did Don say that it's incriminating him? Well, they just wanted to figure out, I don't know. They just felt like his behavior was odd. They just wanted to see if he would say anything. Now, I don't know anything about Crystal Spencer, but it doesn't sound like she really wants to talk, but it is interesting to hear that she admitted to sleeping with Don and that she thinks that Don and Candace definitely are involved. I didn't know. Tell Handyman told me, I think the pistol where's it was like Don was trying to move on very fast with that talk and wanted everyone else to. If everyone has watched SDA sermons, the pastor repeats over and over about the resurrection. I haven't been watching any SDA sermons except when I went to their church, and it was hard for me to pay attention because I was so upset at the time because my daughter was sitting there crying and really upset because Candace just told her that she had changed her mind, that she wasn't going to give her a dog. And, my daughter was devastated because she had already got my daughter all excited. My daughter couldn't sleep. And if it wasn't for Dawn, honestly, if it wasn't for Dawn, Caitlin would have never been able to get a dog. He was able to convince. Candace was like, she was definitely tougher, or she is like, she's just doesn't have any empathy. It really seems like she doesn't at all. Don seems like he does seem to me. I wouldn't say that he has no empathy. Like, unless he's like really good at faking, which is it's very possible. People become good at stuff like that the longer that they're trying to manipulate people. But I wouldn't say Don's like a narcissist. I don't know what's wrong with him, but he does seem to have some empathy, but not like he should. Law enforcement on site all night. Why would he go to Fred Hill? Wonder if he went home and spoke to law enforcement. Did he take his son from the creek? Oh, I'm sure he talked to law enforcement, but He was just not wanting. He told, you know what he told the law enforcement? He told the law enforcement that he's going down to talk to the local dope dealer. Is that, or something like that? That's who he's talking about Fred Hill, that he said he was going to go see if he knows anything. So he's going to this local dope dealer. He's telling law enforcement that's who he's going to talk to. And then brings his son with him, I guess. Oh, thank you, Castle Crime. The racing of the device. Oh, okay. Shoot, that just jumped. This. Remember, Don always took his oldest away if he'd done something wrong. Remember, yeah. Yeah, Candace likes to see kids cry. Don wanted to get away from, he wanted to get away from law enforcement, is what he said. Dang, I wanted to read that comment, but it like jumped as soon as I. Oh, right here. The erasing of the device, could they have just wiped it each night as not to lose the data? And he just got confused with terminology. There could be some confusion there, but he claims like that. He says in that conversation of ours in that audio that law enforcement couldn't figure out what happened either, and that they also heard the laugh that came over the equipment. And he said that law enforcement was saying how it was like a clean slate, and they didn't have any idea what had happened. And that he also goes on to say that the way it was set up, that it was impossible for Fred to actually delete anything on his own. I should have asked him what device they had him using. Until I went back and read or went and listened over the audio, I had just thought for some reason, because he mentioned a phone, but he was talking about how he had his phone in his hand. So for some reason I was thinking while I was there, he was recording with his phone, but no, it was devices that was given to him by law enforcement, but I don't know like what those devices were. So I am interested to find out what kind of devices they give him. Are the blue pills 30 milligram oxy? Those are Roxyset. There's 30 milligram roxycodones or Roxysets, and they're like the only pills, like strong pain pills, that don't have any type of like filler that like gels up when they get wet, so people don't shoot them up, like smash them up, and or make it more difficult to. But that's why a lot of people who are addicted to pills, like the 30, well, there's 30 milligram Roxysets and there's 15, and then there's 10s and 5s. Maybe there's not 10s. There might be just 5, 15s, and 30s. I know that for sure, that there's 5, 15, and 30s. He was trying to avoid law enforcement. I hope that they didn't do that on purpose to him. I mean, but I do know, that's why I kept trying to ask him, is if law enforcement could hear at the time while he was recording him, because like if something would have happened. But later on, I found out just from what he was telling, I guess I assumed just from the stuff he was saying that law enforcement was listening at the same time, because when he said that the law enforcement heard the laugh. Also, I was like, okay, well, they must have been listening to it live as it was happening, because the recording had completely been wiped clean somehow. Oh, really? You watch sermons a month leading? Oh, that's interesting. Mentioning about what I do remember being mentioned. Now, I did go to the Bible study that was beforehand. And from what I remember about that, they mentioned which is interesting, because Don also mentioned it all the time about Catholics. I don't know if Fred Hill would be scared. I think that if he didn't want it out, he would tell me, because he knew I was recording. He would either have told me and asked me not to put it out, or he wouldn't have told me. He didn't tell me back in January. I mean, who could be mad about somebody helping law enforcement find a little girl, except the ones that are guilty, I guess. I know Candace can be evil. I think it was really, and she had no emotion about it, like, at all. Like, my daughter started, like, completely just breaking down. It was so freaking sad. I just felt so bad, because she could not sleep. All she could think about was this, dog that she was going to get. She didn't know she was getting a puppy. We thought we were getting an adult dog. But she was so excited. And then Candace just said it like it was nothing to my daughter. Like, she was just like, yeah, I've been thinking about this, and about the dog, and I just don't think it's a good idea because of Sandman, blah, 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 blah. And my daughter just started bawling. I wanted to leave, but I was determined to, I wanted to also see, feel, experience the church service, even though it was hard to concentrate, just because I was not happy. My daughter was crying, and it's really distracting. But as soon as service was over, Don kind of as soon as we were about to walk out, Don kind of pulled us aside and just is like, listen, I'll figure it out. Like, I'll talk to her. So I was really appreciative of him for doing that. Actually, the blue oxys, there's no blue oxys there anymore. They used to have 160s that were blue, and then the green ones are 80s, and orange is yellow or 40s. 20s are pinkish. 10 milligrams are white. But the blue 30 milligram, there's no 30 milligram oxycontin. There's 30 milligram roxasets. Don't ask how I know all this stuff. You already should know. If you've watched my channel before. I see you, Heather. You're not blocked. What were you trying to inform me about? What was Heather trying to inform me about, if anybody knows? Oh, I'm really glad we got Athena also. I mean, I love her. We won't ever. I would have moved. Like if I had to have moved because of, or if we had to get rid of her because of, not allowed to have a dog here or whatever, we would have moved. For sure. I wasn't sure at first. I'm like, what are we going to do? But I had to pay a lot of money to keep her. Candace said that she was afraid of Fred. Yeah, I guess because of the shooting. I don't know exactly. Like, I mean, he has said that, Fred has said that, he has said that, like, if somebody messes with his family or his dog, he was saying how that guy, that Anthony Paul or Andy Paul or whatever the guy's name was, how he tried to, he drugged Fred's 13-year-old like daughter and tried to take advantage of her. Yeah, he said he was going to kill him, or he wanted to kill him, or he was going to be like, he was really, obviously, I mean, I'd probably have said the same thing. I mean, people say that kind of stuff all the time, especially when it comes to that, but the guy left town because he was I don't know why. I haven't heard any stories of like what exactly Fred has done besides that shooting, but the guy was, pointed a gun at him. I mean, we know that. And shot the gun. Plus, it was hard to see. It was like past midnight. He talks about it in that recording. Sorry. I should have, let me see. I think it is in that recording. That one that I pulled that. Because I was thinking, man, I want to play that too, because he describes the situation and what had happened.
The house is still standing, it's still entire on it, doorstep is open on it. I mean, it's got the
I actually, it's funny you say so thrilled, because that was because I was looking up that house the other day. I was looking up that house, that property.
Oh, right there. He's
just a hillside like it right there. I mean, like field search says to the right. There's all the gate is. If you're looking at the gate, at that little ridge point there, and once you get up on that ridge, there are roads and stuff.
He's talking about. Hold on.
That's where it comes back.
So, for you.
How you need
info.
Yeah, everything, property, if I was on that property or something that day and everything.
The same day that someone.
That thing was like when someone first went missing and stuff. Cases talking about, it's a perfect storm because everything in here, the tree trimmers, this. Then when something got brought up about maroon Tacoma with another wreck, well, what they gonna do when the ladder lights ain't on it no more? Like that. And I didn't know it till later on that her mom owned a red Tacoma, a maroon Tacoma. And Betty, she's been driving it here lately.
Yeah, and she's giving you a ride.
The ladder rack on it.
Yeah, because she told me that your wife said that a couple days after I had been here the last time that she was driving that vehicle.
Yeah, she got her up here because my truck I drove Cam in it down there next to Donnie's driveway, and I was waiting on somebody to come and help pull
pulled it on up here, and come in, and again, that girl was there the same day that her and Andy was supposed to went to court over for
eviction or something, or
restraining order and eviction too, when they trying to keep her, you know.
so they evicted her.
Yeah.
Because that's what.
Cut out of the third day of him standing on the hill.
Okay, I guess it's not on this audio, but there is where it starts to talk about after the third day, how Andy took off to Knoxville for 21 days because he saw him. I don't know where he gets the number 21, but he said it was 21 days after 21 days later that he saw him at the gas station, and he asked him where he had been, and he said in Knoxville, talking about where Andy had been. I was trying to find where it mentioned where he had talked about his story. They know that Jody Sue is the one who turned state's evidence and all those people arrested in a huge drug bust, and she's still walking around. Ask yourself why. Yep. And if you look at her original charges, if you go to, so that would be, let's see, Hawkins. Let's see if we could pull this up, and you could see what all her original charges were, and you'll see that all of them, how many of them get dismissed. So now it makes sense. Hold on, I'm trying to find it real quick. It might not have been. Might have been Sullivan County. Do you want to talk to that lady? Maybe I should go and talk to that lady and maybe come back live later. Okay, this is it here. So you'll see how many charges she got. And here we go. The other Josie that lived by them, not the one that passed away. The other Josie. I don't know another Josie, I don't think. Now she's going to be worried about stitches. She's due. Yeah. Josie is trying to backpedal and say she said weed is like a sedative. Nope, it's on YouTube. People have saved and included. Kids aren't going to be okay unless they got, I guess, put it in edibles or something. According to Fred and Laura, she didn't really. She didn't really send her kids to school. I'm messaging that lady and see if she'll be. Okay. I'm gonna ask her if will you be available in 15 minutes. Okay, so here do you remember where that about the other Josie? Wasn't Andy supposed to be live by now? Exactly. Yeah, Dudley did say one of the boys smoked weed. Haven't been to school in 7 years. Her kids haven't been to school in 7 years. Where did you guys get the 7 years thing? Yeah, how does a 5-year-old smoke weed? That's a good question. Unless it was like an edible, that's what I was saying. You think that? See, I can't believe that because I don't believe that, but I do think that there's a possibility that Don is not involved. There is a possibility, in my opinion, on that, but I'm not. I would say I'm like 60% that Don does know or is involved, that he at least knows or is involved in like some type of cover up, and then 40% that he doesn't know. But that's better than it. I don't want to say 50-50 because I'm not there yet, but 60% or the 40% that that's a lot greater than it used to be. It used to be like way lower. I used to think that he for sure knew. Not for sure, but I knew Candace for sure knew. But I was pretty sure. So now I'm like starting to think there's a possibility that Dawn wasn't involved. But I think it's more likely, though, that he wasn't involved and didn't know about or didn't know what was planned or what was going to happen that day or what did happen. But I think that he probably found out later on the truth. I think that's more likely than he still doesn't know. Okay, so these are Jody Sue's charges from that arrest. And she ended up doing, let's see, let me get it. I think it was only a year. isn't that site coming up? A TBI website. Actually, it probably says here. And I think the only reason why she ended up doing any time is because she had a violation of probation, as you can see. The date of the crime was September 23rd of 2009. But if you notice that the charges were not even filed till May 18th, 2010. So that's interesting that it took 8 more months for them to file charges on her. And if you look up that article about that drug bust, they mention how it was some type of operation that was done in between 2009 to I think 2012, but I think 2009 and 2010 were the key years. And during that time, Kenneth Lawson was arrested, and that's the one that people say that Jody Sue got in trouble. Let's see here if I can find Kenneth Lawson arrest Rogersville. Dude looks like super scary guy when I looked him up too. Like, here, I want to see if it shows a date exactly when this guy was arrested, which I don't think it does. But it does mention that one of the articles I read had mentioned something about 2009 or 2010. So I was trying to look for that. But it is interesting to see on here on this site that Jody Sue's charges of dealing were dropped, which is the highest charge she had. Okay. It says between September 20. See that? I'm not sure though if in 2010, Lang and other individuals, something about a pain clinic. This all has to do with some kind of pain clinic that was open in Georgia. Anyways, I was trying to find that, but it's okay. Her charges from that offense back in September of 2009 is when they're saying that the date was that she had done these crimes right here, but it was filed in May 18th of 2010. I wonder why. Anyways, so her charges there were a Schedule 2, manufacturing, dealing, selling and possession, or I'm guessing, but this charge was a high felony charge, and it was the highest charge. And right here it says dismissal. And let's see, Noel, what's that mean? Noel, prosecute means, okay, Noel, prosecute means is a Latin phrase which directly translates to not to wish to prosecute. Noel prosecute is a legal notice or entry of record that the prosecutor or plaintiff has decided to abandon the prosecution or lawsuit. So they dropped the highest charge that she had received, and she also got a possession of unlawful drug paraphernalia, an attempted possession, whatever that means, a failing to keep drug records, 2 charges of simple possession or casual exchange. She also had a charge of a possession of a firearm and an intent to go armed, and in the commission of a dangerous felony. So she was dealing while she had a firearm on her. Okay. This one down here is a violation of probation that came a year later. But the 2 highest charges, the possession of the firearm during the commission of a dangerous felony and the dealing charges, were dropped. And she got all these found guilty of all the other charges of low-grade felonies. Some of them, 1 or 2 of them, might have been a high-grade misdemeanor, like the failing to keep drug records. But wish they would show more stuff about the hearings, but unfortunately, they don't show much on these Tennessee websites. So, but TBI, let's see. TBI. Wow, somebody's playing loud music. Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. Go to trying to find the web, or just to find the drug offender registry. Is she on the drug offender registry? I didn't know there was such a thing. Last name. They don't have her on the drug offender registry. Let's look up. Gosh. Sorry. Just trying to see if and doesn't look like Angie's on there either. Trying to find the inmate or the inmate search for the, it's probably on the wrong website, that's why. Okay. I was on the wrong, no, I wasn't on the wrong website. Search now. My computer is going like slow today. And I'm supposed to have like super fast internet. Dawn and Candace were both drug tested and both tested positive for meth. Dawn went and bought 2,000 worth of crack. Yeah, and he gave it all away though. Just kidding. God. Okay. So it looks like that she was in, it doesn't really give much, it doesn't give any information here either on the, I do have her, I did order her background report, but I could pull it up, but I don't think it didn't really have much on it. But it might show a date when she went to prison. Here it is. It says that she's 5'11". This came up in Krama Mamas, and people were trying to guess how tall she was. And I was like, it says on some of her past charges that she was 6 foot. But then some say 5'11", and then some say the Tennessee prison, like, inmate search said 5'8". So I don't even know. Okay. Shows that she had in 2014, May 26, a failure to appear. If anybody wants this, by the way, you could just like email me and I can send you a copy. I was hoping that I'll probably go here soon and come back later and go live again. because I want to call that lady about what the information that she has something pretty interesting about the whole Knoxville thing, and I really want to talk to her about it. So very interested to hear. So failure to pair in May of 2014, which I don't even know what that would have been for. Probably would have been for some type of traffic offense, because I don't see a charge that it could be. In 2012 of October, she got a probation violation, which is interesting because on the Sullivan County website, all it said was, it said that was in 2011. So she must have had two, or at least two, because this one is from October of 2012. So I'm guessing if she went to prison, it was probably the second violation. I don't know. And then it says in June of 2011, okay, here's another probation violation. But it doesn't say, like, why, or what was the probation violation for or anything. Just that each of them have one count. So May of 2011, May of 2011, it says that she had, it was Kingsport. So she was arrested by Kingsport Police Department. She had a driving on suspended, no insurance, registration violation, and a failure to yield. September 24th of 2009 is when the severe, when she had those like severe charges, with the, right here it shows that she was in possession of a Schedule 6 for resale, which this is Schedule 6. So I wonder why on the Sullivan County website it says Schedule 2. Because it doesn't say anything about a Schedule 6 on Sullivan County. And then she had a simple possession or / casual exchange charge. It says a manufacturing marijuana. So I guess she must have had plants. Drug paraphernalia charge, and then a charge for maintaining a dwelling where drugs are sold and used. July 2nd of 2009, she got charged with 2 counts of failure to appears. And in 2007, September 23rd, 2007, failure to appear, driving on suspended license, and no proof of insurance. In June of 2005, she also got a driving on suspended. So this is just for Tennessee. So if she has anything anywhere else, it would not be on here. Oh, wow. Thank you so much, Annabelle. That's so nice. Thank you. I didn't see. Sorry, I was on a different website. That's true. That is true. However, and I only know this because I talked to the court about my own private or my own protective order against somebody. I asked them about that, like, even though it's not good to, you shouldn't anyways, because you should try not to, because it could become, you can't get like in trouble for it, because Jody Sue can't get in trouble. Like, she can't get arrested or anything because of talking about Andy. However, what she isn't allowed to do, she can talk about Andy all she wants on her channel. Now, he could also file for a protective order against her, and then, then she would be kind of skating on thin ice if she would mention them. You're not really, it's a form of communication. You're not supposed to talk really about each other, because it's kind of like you're trying to get something back to the other person, and it's communication. But she definitely is not supposed to be going into chats where he's up on the panel and asking him questions, because while she can't get arrested for that, Andy could absolutely have that order dropped because of that. That's shows that she's not scared of him, and that she's trying to provoke him to violate the protective order. So, yeah, he could file it'd be very easily dropped. I mean, there's no doubt about it. It would have been dropped, but he would have to file, and it's very easy to do. People think it's hard to do, but no, it's super, super easy on its own. Basically, you don't even have to make it all professional. It's best to, but he could just type up a letter and ask to have it dropped, and then mention that, say Exhibit A shows proof of where she has, attempted communication with me and tried to provoke me. You show screenshots. You just show all your proof you have. It's called a motion to. It's not called drop. Protective order expunge. I don't know. It's called something. And he wouldn't even need a lawyer for it. It would definitely get approved, because she can't go and try to attempt communication with the person you put a protective order against, but she can talk about him on her channel. It's not the best of ideas, and depending though what she's saying, a good lawyer might be able to get it dropped just from her talking about him on the channel, on her channel. Yeah, there you go. Petition to dismiss. That's exactly right. Petition to dismiss temporary restraining order. All you'd have to do is Google that, go to images, use one of those, no matter what state it's from, as like kind of like a template, and just, edit it to his own information. And if it's has a different state on there, edit it to, say, Tennessee. Go to e-file for the state. It's probably free. And it's super simple. Or have others ask. If she's having other people ask him to, asking others to ask Andy stuff, yeah, that's another way to, and more proof to have the order dismissed. It would just, there is, I guarantee there's enough for that order to be dismissed if Andy really wanted it to be. But I mean, like, really, it doesn't seem like it would really matter, because he's a felon already. So it's not like he can have weapons anyways, or guns anyways. So, but if he wanted to be an asshole, yeah, he could have it dropped very easily. Yeah, he could. He could totally. Somebody made a good point. Like, if none of this stuff's true about what Jody Sue's saying about him selling drugs to kids and to Candace for sedating of kids and stuff, he could definitely sue Jody Sue. He would definitely have a case for sure. But if it's true, then, and she can prove it, or has proof that it is true, then there's really, there's nothing to do. I spilled my coffee. Now I've stepped in a hairball. I somehow didn't hear my cat coughing up. When she was hanging out in the car with Hubs and daughter, was their son with them also? I didn't see him ever. I only saw her daughter. His messages don't paint him innocent. No, I don't think Andy's innocent, but that's just my opinion. He hasn't had the fun stuff. Yeah, but if you know how to, I mean, it would, I guess he would probably need somebody an attorney, but really, if you have like really good proof of defamation, you really don't need an attorney. I guess I shouldn't say that. It's always the best idea to have an attorney, but if you know how to file motions and petitions, and you know how to do all that stuff, like, really, you don't need an attorney. If you have the proof and it's like definite, like, for sure this person has defamed your character, or, I mean, an attorney definitely would help. I mean, it is going to cost money when it comes to filing to start a civil suit, like $150 or something. It doesn't cost to file a protective order usually. Not in my state, it doesn't. And it won't cost to file a petition into the current protective order. Like, if he wanted to put in a petition to dismiss, filing anything into it won't cost anything, but starting a civil suit would cost like $100 and something. Doesn't cost anything. It does cost something in my state to file a civil suit, but that's awesome if it doesn't cost anything. I know it doesn't for a protective order. Those are supposed to be free. He said he isn't. Oh, I'm glad you just reminded me. Your comment just reminded me. I wanted to show you guys this in case you guys didn't see it. Benny had an interesting live about a supposed search warrant that was served in what Knoxville, right? Yeah, Knoxville. Benny was saying it was at Jody Sue's grandparents' house, where I guess Andy Jr. or Damien, whatever you guys call him, Andy Jr. Was staying in regards to the Summer Wells case. That was interesting to me, and it sounds possible to me because I was told by Fred that I was told by Fred's wife that Andy Jr. was not raised by Jody Sue or Andy. They didn't have really anything to do with the kids. Andy Jr. had really bad behavioral problems. Actually, Fred's wife told me that Andy Jr. would literally beat Fleta, which is Anna Hill, Anna Hill is the mother of Anna Hill would be the mother of, what is it, Jody Sue's mom or dad? Thank you, Sir Me. So this is on, it would have to be the mom, Polly's mom is Anna Hill. Yeah, that's right. Who they also called Fleta for some reason, Fleeda. I'm not sure where they got that nickname, but anyways, Andy Jr. It was witnessed by Fred and his wife Laura, him like beating his grandma, hitting her with a broomstick, beating the dog with the broom, actually, too. A little dog. And Laura said she couldn't go over there anymore because it was so, like, she could not see him, like, sit there and abuse that old lady. Like, she said he would treat her horribly. She said it was disgusting. It was absolutely repulsive. And the thing, that was extra, like, even made it worse, is that he said that Anna Hill was like a very sweet old lady. I think Anna passed away. I think so. So it would make sense that if Andy Jr. was staying with anybody, it would be the other grandparents on the other side of the family. So when Benny mentioned something about a possible search warrant done, or over at the other grandparents. It's like, that does sound possible that Andy would be staying with his grandparents. Or was that Cleta? No, it's Fleda. Fleeda. Cleta? It's funny. Oh, it's definitely Fleda, I think. Let me see here. Go to my family tree. Bernard family tree. Oh, you know what, too? I was listening to something interesting, too. I think that might solve a freaking mystery and questions that we have had about how Donald Wells ended up in Tennessee. Now, if I can remember which recording that was. Dang it. I was listening to a phone call that I had with Don. And in it, he was mentioning how, I'll go back to these screenshots. 1 second. And he was mentioning how his dad ran away from home when he was a kid or something. And he actually, I don't know, he said that his dad was from, he was from here. He said his dad was from Rogersville area. And that he ran away from home to get away from home. He ran away and was in the Korean War, and he lied about his age, and he was a minor, and actually that he was in the war. Man, what audio is that? Dang it, that's important. Because he was saying his dad is from that area. I need to clip that and put that on YouTube by itself, because people have been wondering. I don't think this is the correct. This is not the right family tree, because I don't know. I know I have. Anna Hill is Polly's. Okay. Anna Hill is Jody Sue's mom's mom. There you go. I thought I clipped that recording, and I was going to play it, where he talks about how, dang it. I think it is in that same call. Damn it, I can't believe. Now I'm trying to remember. It's in that same call that I played earlier, but of that clip with his sister. But that audio was from Michelle After Dark's channel. that she clipped from mine. Let's see. I'll go to calls, and if I can, maybe I'll find it real quick because it's right at the beginning where he's talking about how his dad was in the Korean War and how he ran away from home. I somehow accidentally brought it up on my phone. Oh, here. This might be it. This might be it.
Yeah, wound up with all these idiots. It's just retarded, man. You know? Yeah. But let me talk to her and see what she says over, okay? Okay. See if I can get over my dog. Well, no, they know. Well, the behavior panel works with TBI and everybody but to Mary? Yeah. No. In fact, I thought I protected her a lot of times, especially in that one incident. Hey, I protected her.
Did you suppose, speaking about times that you were, you know, they're claiming it was like from 19 and under, you know, it's like.
I accidentally. Okay.
Oh, this bullshit. Everything's bullshit, sorry. All bad.
I just don't know where half that stuff came from. I'm like kind of, I don't know.
Well, there's a lot of anger there. You have to understand, man.
I don't know what I did to you.
You haven't done nothing. Okay, look. Okay, you haven't done anything. Okay, I apologize to you. Okay, let's just start here. I apologize to you.
Yeah, but now all those text messages, all those text messages are going to be all over freaking the internet tomorrow by Benny. You know that.
Well, you know what? Everything I've done in the past 5 months is all over the fucking internet.
Yeah, so if I promise you not to put something out, like, you know, you were also been trying to get, you know, your sister or your daughter, not sure that really Mary has any type of thing.
No, it's just me and Kansas. Completely. That's all. Not my daughter. But the one time I asked her to stand up for me, she said, oh, well, my husband says, well, you know, she wants to. Actually, don't care about me. You're trying to be real, and I respect you for that. That's really cool.
Let's see. So that's.
Anyway, yeah, there's something going on with the other numbers. Maybe it's because of talking to Donald. Could that have been it? It was like, can you hear me? Can you hear me? And I was talking, but it seemed like you couldn't hear me.
Is that Prayer Garden?
I hear you. Well, I think I asked Pink, but was your office away from your home? Yeah.
Huh, that's Prayer Garden.
And one day when we were going to Walmart, we got in a huge argument, and it's up to you. I told him, like, you know, it was my idea for me to call you. I've seen your channel. I don't think you really.
Oh, man. Dang it, I don't know.
And one day when we were going to Walmart,
I'm trying to find that recording where he talks about his dad.
It was his idea for me to call you. So you said they were abusive, and yeah, they cuss him in like his dogs. Tell me stupid, ignorant, hate them.
Oh, this is the first interview with
Wow. And they wasn't
with
shy
Laura.
about doing it. It didn't matter if there's 10 people standing there. So are you his wife? Yep. And so how do you feel about Don throwing your husband under the bus and trying to accuse him of having something to do with Summer? I don't care for it.
This is from the January.
I'm biding my time. It's all gonna come out, man.
Yeah, so.
Has Don stopped by today, or? I've known that man for 20 years, and that man ain't never in his life ever spoke about God until the night the Summer got gone. Oh, wow, really? Never. So now all of a sudden he wants to be like, I'm going to see religious. And he wants to talk. The first thing out of his mouth is he couldn't wait to see Summer again. This is before they even know where she was going to come back, or the same night she went missing, right? That's what Fred said.
Freddie.
Said that he couldn't wait for the resurrection. He would see her again then. Yeah, that doesn't sound like what you. So people were saying I needed to bring her in, and that she is too young. So what happened is I was in Tennessee. I'm a YouTuber. Okay. And I
don't.
You said how old again?
8 to 10 weeks old.
Oh, okay. Awesome. 9, 10 weeks old, you said, when you first did.
Well, I don't know. I was listening and I.
Anyway, yeah, there's something going on there. The numbers. I didn't understand your text message, so I just wanted to call you real quick. I'm not live or anything. I have this person from
How do I? I'm trying to fast forward.
Tyler Feller, like online. She sent me like a Cashapp asking me to.
Oh, here we go.
Or give.
You know, it's like,
Yeah, it would just probably not. It was
honest.
another channel. I don't want to just. I don't think anyone even close to that. So, like my.
People all the time.
Several years.
Yes, I saw her on the panel. She seems to. It's at the end of the driveway when she went looking for Summer at 4:30.
In my 20s.
Yeah.
She's just so tired of it all. She's so tired of it all.
She was Sata's lady.
Yeah.
But I
We know about, the only thing we know about them is that as soon as someone, Robin heard it, she, why? I don't understand.
You've been on my channel. It's like I was really respectful to you guys on my channel. I don't understand her problem. There's not something, hey? Oh, you just told them?
I don't know anything about that. FBI agents. They work with FBI agents, intelligence.
Oh, wait, you did tell them in your book panel that you passed your life detector test, didn't you?
They know all of them guys, yeah. I mean, they train.
Life detector.
Well, I'd say they got connections with the police department and everything else. I mean, it seemed kind of obvious to me.
Yeah, but how?
I mean, you have to think.
That information.
Well, no, but you got the behavior panel that works with Dr. Steele. They have connections with all the TBI, FBI, and all kinds of stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? They trained FBI agents.
Oh,
They work with FBI agents,
you never
intelligence,
told them that you
stuff like
passed?
that.
You never. Oh wait, you did. Wait, you did tell the behavioral panel that you passed your lie detector test, didn't you?
Well, no, they know all that. The behavior panel works with TBI and FBI and stuff like that. They train all them people. They're like, they're all buddies. They know all of them guys. Yeah. I mean, they train military and all that stuff like that.
Well, I'll tell you, the second episode was really good for you guys. Surprisingly.
Yeah.
Surprising.
Wow, it's bullshit. Really bullshit. Sorry. My bad.
I think this is the one actually.
Start fucking something up though. Beat the fuck out of me and call Thompson and take go. They're fucking plan. You know, listen to every fucking one of their lies like they're fucking gold.
I'll have to speak on your behalf in some ways. So they have also people.
But we did all that. We went to Dr. Phil. Shit, right? Ain't gonna lie to you. No? Now you got to put Thomas on me. I went to fucking jail. But that's alright. It's all good, you know? It's all good. Shit, right?
About you guys, but and I get always so much crap when I let.
No? Now you got to put Thomas on me. I went to fucking jail. It's about the drama. No, I'm not talking about that.
Really? How long have you been out there? Was that like 2 weeks?
1 week.
Oh, just messages. And it's okay. Like, I'm not mad at you or anything. It's just like now you have such a bad reputation online. He's sitting here sending me threatening things while I'm talking to you.
Well, what made him
I haven't spoke to him once. Like, women are more drama, like, at
I
first.
fucked up then.
Yeah, but, and that's why.
Yeah, it's crazy. You know, I get that.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying that he has.
I don't know.
I don't.
Recognizing diapers. I mean, you say you start.
Yeah, I was just using that as an example.
It's all psychological. If Benny went to prison, he would be at home. He would have a maid in there.
Yeah, because he's a criminal.
But in the free world,
You don't want that anymore.
you call this the free world.
Why doesn't he use somebody to get them arrested?
Like,
Well, you're you don't let everybody speak so you can, like, people.
now it's just on a bigger scale.
We need, really need your. He's trying to
I'm not gonna do
like,
that to you.
and call me all kinds of names and stuff, but it's fine. But I'll work things out when he records the call. You know, I feel like it's.
Man, this is supposed to be all about summer, and they made it all about damn. You know how much money Chris M has made off my daughter?
Oh yeah. See, I don't make. I mean.
I would bet money. I guarantee you, in time, mark my words, that he would probably be a better friend to you than anybody out there. In time, you watch and sit, that you understand those things. It's like over this big time, so.
Some people just don't get what I'm trying to situation is that
Guilty too. That's what nobody, that's just, yeah, big boys. They break swimming and everything.
he claims he was going through the kids got.
So I can watch water. You know, everything he said on Chris M's videos, she's whispering to him what to say. Why? Why?
It did seem like, yeah.
I would go there and beat the fuck out of all of them, but then I would be in jail. You know,
maybe I'll try to work on that video tonight and see if I can figure out what those hand symbols are, because is he part of some kind of, I don't know. I mean, I doubt he's really part of the gang, but.
Hey, look here. This is everything that I've told you is what I've told Juan for.
It must not be that one, but.
I just want to ask, like, real quick. I thought you were being serious for a second. Like a lot of people
I remember he was really drunk and
product stuff, like
the one that it was on, but
it's not something, hey?
I don't know, damn it. All right. So these screenshots was what wanting to go. I'll find that audio where he mentions that his dad is from this. Well, he said from this area, and he's speaking about Rogersville, Tennessee. I think that's important for us to look into. I'm having a hard time finding like Don Senior's parents, but that would solve the mystery of what brought them kind of to Tennessee, I guess. But Karen lived in Tennessee. So remember Hunter said to Candace when she called saying Summer was missing for reals, and then they said how it happened before. Hey, Emma. How could both Candace, Grandis, Jody, Sue be fucking with Flowers at the same exact time unless they was together and made up the story? Our next art class? I don't know. Maybe later on today. We play a drawing game over on my backup channel sometimes, so you guys should totally follow. I'm going to go over these messages real quick, and then I'm going to get off of here, but I might be back on. If I'll at least, like, if I don't come back on here, I'll at least come back on my backup channel maybe, and probably. And do another art lesson. Well, Emma, you should listen to the beginning. Was the first couple hours was probably what you'll want to hear. And I'm about to upload the audio that we discussed. And it was about how Fred told me that he actually was asked by law enforcement to record audio conversations between him and Don. So that audio is going to be uploaded separately here in a little bit in case you want to, talk about it on your channel, and it'll be easier to reference. But yeah, it was talked about earlier. I just want to talk about this really quick though before I get off here, because if you guys didn't see these messages, this is a conversation between me and Jody Sue when I was in Tennessee the first time in January. This was on, I think, the 15th of January or something like that. But I do know it was on the night that Doug had that panel where Jody Sue started crying because of the stuff that came out. I think it was earlier that day on Chris McDonough's live, where it might have not been a live, it might have been an upload where Chris had uploaded that content that was not edited, the unedited content where H mentioned the name Andy, and that upload had really upset Jody Sue. But what's very interesting about the stuff that's came out recently, like Jody Sue saying, "Oh, Andy isn't a drug dealer," or that Andy, okay, how she used to say Andy wasn't a drug dealer. She was so adamant and so just so sure, and just thought it was so stupid that people kept saying that. That's what this conversation is about, because it's the night that she was on Doug's panel, I guess. It's right when all that happened, when Andy's name was mentioned. It's just interesting what she says in this conversation, considering how just a few days ago she named her ex Andy as the person as a dealer, basically, who was supplying Candace with pills and also kids over on 110 Ben Hill Road. So very interesting. With that in mind, keep that in mind while listening to this, okay? So she mentioned the screenshot starts her mentioning Doug's live here. And I said, oh, I haven't watched him since he dissed me. So he wanted people to send them meant to put money to him first. LOL. And she says the last few minutes of his lives with me in chat, the StreamYard link was sent to me 4:04 all night. And I said, was he taking in donations for you? So I highlighted this part. So the highlighted parts are the parts of interest. He said he and the rest of that group announced to me they are going for Andy, and I lit the F up. And she replies that too about taking in donations for her. Then she says, they're going to cause my kids and I to get murdered or the goddamn public. They don't goddamn care. So the main thing I want to say is, why did you light the fuck up when Andy was mentioned? Why? I thought he's been terrorizing you for years. And more importantly, your kids. Wouldn't that be a good thing that he was put in prison so that he couldn't harm you or the kids? Anyways. Then she says, long story, but they know. And that shit for 3 weeks was a goddamn setup push to this. So at that time, I had no idea what she was talking about. Then she goes on to say, only after they figured out I am in possession of some shit that fucks everyone, though, of course. I'll keep holding my cards for now. That's why I wrote over here, this isn't a game. Like, what's she mean holding her cards? Like, so that's where she's saying, she's obviously talking about how, I don't know actually what information she's holding back, but she's, she figures that right here. She said, they figured out I'm in possession of some shit that fucks everyone, though. Of course. I said, and by the way, this is at the time that me and Doug had just had a little situation. So this is a long time ago. This is back in January. I said, Doug is fake. I hate to say that because I think underneath he could be a good guy. I am interested in hearing from Andy, not because I care if he sold drugs or not, but just because he really hasn't spoke. But if me talking to Andy puts you or anyone in danger, then I wouldn't do it. It's not that important. I don't think Andy being the drug dealer really pertains to why Summer is missing. I think selling drugs is low on the totem pole compared to what happened to Summer. She said it puts us in extreme danger and the public. I'm not joking. And nobody gives an F or is taking it seriously. Okay, so if it puts you in extreme danger in the public, then why did you light the fuck up about Andy, people going after Andy? Like, wouldn't you want that if he's so dangerous and him around puts you, or anything? Why would it put you in extreme danger in the public? It's such bullshit, and you know it. You're hiding something. Oh my God, dude. This is crazy reading this stuff back. Then she says, he has been vetted. Oh my God. So this is why this is starred. This is the most important part of this conversation. And by the way, once again, this is on my community post. if anybody wants to look at them or reference them. She says he has been vetted. He is innocent. Nobody needs his side for anything other than drama, than to eat him for profit, and that will get us or the public hurt or murdered. And Andy isn't the dealer. Not even close. Wow. Wow. Which is it, Jody Sue? Is he or isn't he? Because just a few days ago, you tell everybody in this like dramatic style fashion that he is a dealer. And actually, not only is he a dealer, but he is supplying pills to children and to Candace, and is being used for sedating little girls so bad things could be done to them. God. But he's not even the dealer, is what you say here, and not even close. Wow. You are very reliable. I mean, and honest, aren't you? Then she says, and everyone trying to get to him knows it. So they know what the fuck kind of bullshit they are up to. Andy, in a random gram of weed, doesn't have shit to do with Summer. The feds are aware of it and have been since day one before dark. He is on cam 6 days a week. Same schedule, same time for years. Plus GPS, plus car GPS, plus Google GPS. I even have. But now you say, now it comes out that you said he wasn't on camera at work the whole time, or they didn't have him. He wasn't at work the whole time or something like that. Then she goes on to say this YouTube hunt for Andy is horseshit. But Don, Doug, CM, Josh, all trying, and it's horseshit. And I said, is it? Over here at the side. I said, well, I won't talk to him then. Not that I have an opportunity to do so. I just won't try or attempt to. Okay, so it looks like this was the 12th of January, actually, not 15th. I said, are you still wanting to meet or for dinner or something? She says, is CM playing the shit with he and Josh that wasn't even supposed to be recorded? LOL. Then she responds about meeting up for dinner or something. She said, I'm just getting up. I've been napping while my eldest could come in and watch my youngest. It was a rough night. I said, I've been out and about. Don't know what he's doing. LOL, I'll check it out. She said, F him. I'm so over this nonsense. It really only ends with my dead body and Andy involved somehow. And now YouTube helping it. The rest of that message is here on the next screen. Or, why is this cut off here? Hold on. Okay, I didn't realize that this was cut off here. Well, she mentions here that on that last text, that she has been spending the night on the phone crying with neighbors from Bill Hill, and they were thanking her for protecting them and calling out Molly Golightly and trying to stop them from bothering or going on Ben Hill. They're also tired of people bothering them, something like that. They said that so goddamn driven crazy they are in. But she's just talking about how the neighbors and how she spent all night like on the phone with like her neighbors, her old neighbors of Ben Hill, and how they're so tired of people going in there and bothering them. He called her shadiness back in January when others were treating her like a tragic heroine. How do you say that? Heroin. And slamming you for speaking out. How did that turn out for them? I bet no one apologizes. Probably. Her and Ernie need to hook up and be crazy together. Yeah, speaking of Ernie, I was about to go live that day that he pulled me on panel. Like, I was about to go live. I was just about to go live. So it was because of Ernie that I didn't, because he distracted me and I was literally just about to hit live. And he asked me to come up on his panel and talk. And I had a bad feeling about it, but I went ahead and said, okay. I said, in a few minutes, I'm doing something. And I kind of took my time because I was really not wanting to, because I just felt like it was like a setup. And it was. And I went on there and he tried to fight with me. So I was up there for all of a minute. Because people in this chat were lying to him and getting him going about stuff that did not happen, telling him I called the cops on him, just messing with him because I guess, which is really not cool because they're just trying to feed into his paranoia and freak him out. You know how they do. No, I don't think she was going to meet me. She was just trying to. No, she wasn't trying to meet me. She was just kind of like dangling me along so that she could hopefully. I think she thought if she told me she was going to meet with me, that I would be more likely to, share her Cashapp and stuff, because it was all around the time that she was asking to share her, that she was like, I'm just so tired of all the bullshit, and with everything I'm going through, I might as well screw it. I'm just over it. And who cares what people say about me sharing my Cashapp and stuff? So what did he say? He was just asking, like, would I explain why I called the cops on him? Which I was like, I didn't call the cops on you. And then he goes on to say, well, people here are telling me you did. But what they were doing is people in the chat were trying to get him going because they like to see Ernie like freak out on camera and walk in traffic. It's like these people he's going to end up like getting killed live on YouTube. And people are encouraging his paranoia and crazy behavior. But he sent me a voice clip after I hung up. Of course, he was live trying to just like act all big and bad in front of all these people and said, I really need to think about my life. And I really need to think about how I act like I'm such a good person, but I'm really not. And it's just fake. And I need to be honest with everybody. And I responded to him, and I guess he read it out. I'm surprised because of what it said. But I said, well, I really am not going to take life lessons off of somebody whose life is not together. And what did I say? It was I said, he told me, oh, here, let's listen.
So
you teamed up with this other creator, Ziggy, that I didn't know anything about. Oh.
Or wait, hold on. I didn't even listen to that. It was probably this one.
Ziggy, let me just be honest with you, Ziggy. You're guilty as fuck, okay? You're guilty as fuck in the things you do. And it's sad. It's sad. It's sad because you have a great following, I guess you'd say, and you lead those people in the wrong way. You're leading those people down a way that you should never lead those people. And here's what's going to be bad. It's going to catch up with you. It's going to catch up with you in the worst of ways. Just keep going down that path. You're going down the wrong path, and you'll see where it's going to lead you. So you teamed up with this other creator, Ziggy, that I didn't know anything about.
I didn't know I was supposed to tell him everything I do.
All this is you. You and BK are an item now. I didn't know that. I mean, good God, girl. What in the world? I really didn't know that. I mean, I must just been plumb out of it, up in space with the aliens. I don't know. No, I've been you're putting on a show by Ziggy. I'm not putting on a show. Listen here, what I'm doing. I'm putting on an experiment, a project, you might say, and you're part of that project now. You have went to the dark side. I can't believe I would ever say that about you, Ziggy. I can't believe that. I would never do you that way.
I said to him, I'm going down the wrong path. Hardly think I need life lessons from you. I mean, come on. This is coming from the man who can't stop walking in effing traffic. I will not be listening to your messages or calls. Have a good 4th. Oh, man, that was Saturday. And then he tried calling me. I did not answer. But I am going to go. I did want to address this real quick. Brown Skittle says, if Andy is involved, it's strange time to leave Jody Sue. If she really was aware or part of it, or if he was aware, or if she was aware or part of it, it always throws me when I think it might be Andy. Okay. That's why I think it's, I think that I also have thought of that. Because if he was involved, like, it would be a bad time to leave Jody Sue, because then she would, she seems like a vindictive person, and she would, tell law enforcement everything to get back at him. However, then I started thinking, well, then I feel like it must be both of them. They both are involved somehow. Or she knew, like, her knowing what was going on and not reporting it. I mean, that's another thing. I think that she was involved in some way. And that's why it made, why he wasn't, like, afraid to leave. It has to be either they both are involved in the selling of substances to 110, or allegedly, or neither of them are. I think it has to be both or none. I don't think it's one, unless it could possibly be, it could be just Jody Sue and not Andy. And Andy doesn't know. It could be that, but it can't be Andy, unless Jody Sue didn't know, I guess. But obviously, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like it's more likely both or none. Yeah, too many unreported crimes, too many people that seem to be involved with this or know something. Yeah, covering up for and possibly it could be, you know, how Fred said that he saw that Andy, how he saw Andy around 3 to 3:30. What if it was actually Andy Jr. driving their vehicle? You know? Is there really fools out there that can't read a joke and actually think Ziggy and BK are an item? Please send me your emails. I want to invite you to my Mars farmland auction. Great prices for all. If any is involved, then so much Judy Subi. Yeah, I think so. How are we the dark side? We aren't the ones forging fake credentials and LARPing as law enforcement or predator hunters. Is that true or not, Ziggy? You were tracking him and you were stating he was stealing from Walmart. True or false? I had a live saying that. I did do a live saying that there was and played a what's it called? What's it called? I played a what are those where you can hear over the radio, like people being pulled over and stuff? I'm trying to see if anybody will. Scanner. I was listening to a scanner live because somebody had, I can't remember why we were watching it. There was something going on. Somebody had called the cops on Ernie or something. Oh, I know what it was. I turned it on and did that and turned on the scanner because I heard that Candace had called the cops on Ernie and he was on his way to 110. And so I turned on the scanner and went live. And while we did that, we heard something about somebody stealing from Walmart. And that's how that got started. But it was never said that was, everybody else was listening at the same time I was. It wasn't something that I just like came up with or just like said and did it. I had people listen to the scanner and they could decide for themselves. But there was some discrepancies because of it. What made it confusing was because 110 is basically on the line of Hawkins County and Sullivan. There was confusion because of which scanner do you listen to, you know? So that's where that played in. All right, guys. You said it was Ernie and a silver. I reported that it was him. No, it was the scanner. You're not like saying exactly what happened. What happened is exactly what was stated I said that the scanner was played. Everybody heard it live with me. That's not exactly what happened. I didn't go on and just say, oh my God, Ernie stole from Walmart. I would never put something like that out as fact. I might say, I think, or allegedly, or it sounds like it was Ernie because of this scanner, and everybody listened to it with me. But it ended up that because I was on the Hawkins County scanner, or I was on the Sullivan County or Hawkins County, and it ended up, I think we weren't sure if it was the same Walmart and it was a black Honda. It was not a silver Honda that was in the scanner. So I never said silver. Okay, I was the one doing it, Warrior Bunny. I was there too. Yeah, that's the night of Candace called law enforcement in the flat tire. I did assume it was Ernie stealing because he was on the yes, that was my opinion. That was my assumptions. I don't know why they got. Oh, we got on Ernie because of that. I don't know how we got on Ernie. Yeah, I always do. I do. I wish Ernie would get help because I am afraid that we're gonna see him get hurt or killed live on Facebook because it's just like a repeat always of the same thing over and over again. And I don't think it's funny to try to encourage him and his paranoia to, try to get him going. It was on Warrior Bunny. With all due respect, I'm not going to respond anymore unless you decide you will come up here and talk to me, because you just it doesn't matter what I say. You're just going to keep repeating the same thing, and I'm going to keep repeating the same thing, and nothing's going to come of it. I was told the cops were called on Ernie. He happened to be at Walmart and he was checking out, and then over the scanner while I was live, it mentioned somebody stealing from Walmart, and it was right after he had left Walmart. And then they talked about a dark color car and how they had, where they parked in the parking lot and blah, blah, blah. It all happened live. There was no misinformation or me trying. It was all happened live. Like anybody can make their own assumptions with it. It wasn't like a report that he was stealing, but unless you want to come up here and discuss it, I'm not going to respond to any more of the comments as far as on that, or anybody's comments on it, unless you want to come up here and talk about it, because it's just pointless, honestly. Because I can tell, by what you're saying, is that you're just wanting to try to. You're just set in what you're saying. And I mean, isn't that live up? Let's see, that would have been. If it's not up, at the very least, I have it. I'm sure I have it. So, which I'm not going to play it now, but I have no problem. Like, I don't know why. What I don't understand is like people like come in and say stuff like that and where they're just like trying to like cause issues instead of like, they're not really trying to talk about things. They're just like, pointing fingers and trying to make me look bad. But what they don't understand is like, I have no problem admitting my faults or when I mess up. It's no problem to me because I know it's normal to make mistakes, and everybody makes mistakes. I'm not perfect, and I have not done everything perfectly on my channel, and I'm going to make mistakes again, and I'm going to do things you guys don't like and don't agree with. It's just going to happen, and it's normal. And I don't know what you're trying to get out about Ernie. That has nothing to do with like this people trying to build on his paranoia and tell him that I called the cops on him. I didn't call the cops on him. That's what they were saying. That has nothing to do with that incident because I did not call the cops on him. Yeah, it was. Here's the live right here. It's when it says I got timed out in Ernie's for what? And during it, we were listening to the scanner. So it wasn't anything about or putting out that he got it. The title was I got timed out in Ernie's for ? And that was May 8th. So it was nothing about like trying to make Ernie, trying to say that he got arrested for stealing. I don't know. I would like to know the Knoxville connection. All right, guys, I am going to get off here, but I will maybe be on later. If not, like if I don't come back on this channel, I'll probably come back on my backup channel and we can play some drawing games or something. But no, Ernie did not steal anything. And if I will apologize if I gave anybody that impression, because no, he did not steal anything that I know of. And the only charges I've seen about him having any type of theft is with that recent white van thing but I don't know. But no, that incident that night, he was not arrested for stealing. All right, guys, I will talk to you later and possibly might be back on. And I hope you all have a great 4th of July night.